The train rumbles along the winding tracks, its rhythmic clatter muffled by the quiet murmur of students, eager for the year ahead at Hogwarts. Lanterns sway gently, casting long, flickering shadows over the polished wood floors of the compartments. Amid the laughter and chatter, a solitary figure sits in silence, Serafina Mulciber. Her pale, sharp features are illuminated by the faint glow of lantern light, but it's her eyes that captivate and unsettle. Green as the darkest emeralds, they glimmer with an intensity that speaks of a mind always calculating, always plotting. Her long, sleek hair falls like a veil over her shoulders, framing her face with an air of quiet menace. Everything about her radiates a confidence that demands respect or fear. Her dark, tailored robes flow around her with a predatory grace, accented by leather and the faint glint of metal. She is no mere student. She is a presence. Serafina's gaze drifts out the frost-laced window, but her mind is elsewhere. To her, Hogwarts is not just a school, it's a chessboard, an arena, a crucible where the pieces of her future will fall into place. While other students talk of house rivalries, Quidditch, or academic achievement, her thoughts linger on forbidden knowledge. The ancient castle, with its labyrinth of secrets and darkened corners, is more than a place of tradition. It is the key to unlocking a power most wizards fear to even whisper about. Her ambition is born of desperation and defiance. The Mulciber name, once synonymous with greatness, lies tarnished by scandal. Her father's obsession with forbidden magic brought the family to ruin, leaving their reputation shattered. Serafina, however, does not see her father's downfall as a mistake. She sees it as unfinished work. While the world scorned him for reaching beyond what was allowed, Serafina learned an invaluable truth. True power lies in the forbidden. The world may see her as just another Slytherin, an ambitious heir to a disgraced name. But the world underestimates her. Her dreams are not of glory or acceptance. They are of control, of reshaping a world she sees as weak, one spell, one secret, one choice at a time. Her gaze sharpens as the train whistles, its sound piercing the cold night air. She is not here to follow the rules of those who came before her. She is here to break them. The castle's forbidden section calls to her, promising spells and knowledge long buried, and Serafina has never been one to turn away from temptation. She adjusts her cloak, her lips curling into the faintest hint of a smile. The serpent in the shadows is poised to strike, and nothing, not the professors, not her peers, not the rules of magic, will stand in her way. Serafina Mulciber was born into a name once whispered with both awe and fear. The Mulcibers were known for their mastery over ancient, forbidden magic, magic that could reshape reality itself. Her father, Ambrose Mulciber, a ministry official driven by unrelenting ambition, believed the rules of society were shackles meant to be broken. He sought to wield dark magic to secure his family's legacy, but in his hunger for power, he tore apart the very boundaries that held him together. His catastrophic failure shattered the Mulciber name, casting it into disgrace. To the world, the Mulcibers became a warning, dangerous overreach, the cost of ambition. But to Serafina, it was something else, a lesson in failure. Her father had been right to seek power. He had simply lacked the strength to control it. The rules that crippled him would not bind her. She would rise where he had fallen. Raised by her mother, Elara Mulciber, a bitter potions master exiled by the wizarding world, Serafina learned that the world was neither just nor forgiving. From the ashes of their downfall, Elara poured into her daughter the knowledge of dark rituals and forgotten spells. Serafina's childhood was not filled with innocence or fairy tales. It was filled with the dark, cold reality that only power could reshape the world. Magic was not a gift, it was a weapon. To survive in a broken world, she would have to break what could not be bent. From an early age, Serafina understood her place. The world would never treat her as an equal. Her family's disgrace ensured that. But rather than shrink away, she embraced the lesson. She learned that magic wasn't about mercy or fairness, it was about control. To rule was to dominate, to subjugate, to shape the world in a way that no one else could. The wizarding world, bound by outdated rules, had no place for someone like her. But Serafina didn't need its place. She would carve her own. Hogwarts was never meant to be a home. It was a battlefield, a stepping stone in her rise to power. She would claim the ancient magic that lay beneath its walls, not to redeem her family's name, but to redefine the world itself. To her, the ends justified the means. The world was weak, ruled by outmoded ideals. Only those with the strength to embrace the forbidden could remake it. Yet with every step she took deeper into the shadows, Serafina questioned, at what cost does power come? Each spell she cast, each curse she used, felt like a piece of her slipping away. The more she wielded dark magic, the more distant she became from the world she sought to save. For Serafina Mulciber, magic is control, a force to be wielded, not a gift to be received. Each spell is calculated, deliberate, a step toward her ultimate goal of mastery over the chaos of the world. Basic cast may seem mundane to most, but Serafina uses it as the foundation of her dominance. Every strike is a calculated move, a way to build momentum and charge her ancient magic meter. For her, no spell is insignificant. Even the simplest of strikes can turn the tide of battle when used with precision. Then comes Protego, the shield most students rely on for defense. But Serafina doesn't defend, she counters. With perfect timing, her Protego sends spells flying back at her enemies, a reflection of her control. After a flawless block, she strikes with Stupefy, stunning and cursing her foes in one seamless motion. To her, each move is a deliberate assertion of power. But control alone is not enough. To reshape the world, she must wield the forbidden. The unforgivable curses, spells whispered in fear, are Serafina's true tools of ambition. Crucio, the Cruciatus curse, is her first. Pain becomes power. The first time she casts it, she hesitates, but the screams are only a reminder that control is earned through suffering. Next comes Imperio, the Imperious curse, control taken to its extreme. To bend minds, to turn her enemies into puppets, is to assert dominance over everything. To Serafina, domination is not just about brute force. It's about making even her enemies work for her. Then there is Avada Kedavra, the killing curse. Silence follows. No struggle, no hesitation, just finality. Mastery over this curse means its power multiplies, chaining through every cursed target and wiping them from existence. To Serafina, it is not cruelty, it is precision, a way to reshape the world with a single, undeniable act of control. Yet the cost is heavy. As Serafina's mastery over dark magic deepens, so too does the darkness that coils around her, changing her from within. Each curse, each life taken, pulls her further from her humanity. She tells herself it's all for a greater good, but the growing weight of her actions begins to sink in. Beyond the unforgivable curses, Serafina's arsenal includes offensive spells like Confringo, Incendio, Bombarda, and Diffindo, weapons of destruction that leave no room for weakness. Confringo seeks her enemies with fiery intensity, while Incendio ignites everything in its path. Bombarda obliterates everything in a wide radius, and Diffindo slices through her enemies with deadly precision. Levioso, Ecchio, Depalso, and Descendo, her control spells, are just as deadly. Levioso lifts her foes, leaving them exposed and at her mercy, while Ecchio pulls them into her grasp, ensuring escape is impossible. Depalso pushes them away with devastating force, and Descendo crashes them to the ground, vulnerable and broken. Each of these spells serves a singular purpose, to bend her enemies to her will, forcing them into positions where they are powerless. Each spell Serafina casts tells the story of her journey. From the calculating efficiency of basic casts to the devastation of the unforgivable curses, her power grows, and so does the cost of wielding it. Control, once a tool, becomes an obsession, and Serafina wonders, is she commanding the magic, or has the magic begun to command her? Magic is not fair. It is a weapon, a force to be seized by those willing to wield it. The Ministry cowers behind laws it cannot enforce. The founders built Hogwarts with magic they feared to leave unchecked. Power does not belong to the cautious. It belongs to those who take it. Serafina intends to take everything. Her talents are not random choices, they are precise refinements, sharpening her magic into something lethal. Every enhancement is another step down a path most fear to walk, another link in a chain she will use to bind the world to her will. Basic cast is where it begins. What others see as a mere flick of the wand, Serafina perfects into a relentless rhythm. Basic cast mastery ensures each strike shaves seconds off her cooldowns, forcing her enemies into an unrelenting cycle of suffering. Protego is no longer defense, it is a weapon. With Protego expertise, every perfect block sends curses lashing back at their casters. But Serafina does not merely endure. Protego mastery ensures her counterattacks shatter shields, breaking through enemy defenses in a single calculated retaliation. Swift dodge lets her vanish like smoke, slipping past attacks with practiced ease. But she does not dodge to escape. Evasion absorption ensures each perfect evasion feeds her ancient magic, turning every near miss into another step toward unleashing destruction. But the dark arts are where her talents take their true form. With Stunning Curse, even Stupefy, a spell meant to disable, becomes something crueler, marking her victims for execution. Disarming Curse ensures that even Expelliarmus, a spell of restraint, brands its target for suffering. To Serafina, there is no distinction between light and dark magic, only magic she has mastered, and magic she has yet to claim. And then, the unforgivable curses. Crucio mastery ensures that pain is no longer personal, it spreads, venomous and unrelenting, chaining from one victim to the next. She watches the agony ripple outward, and she does not flinch. Imperio turns domination into an art. To strip an enemy of their will, to force them into servitude, is power in its purest form. With Imperio mastery, every strike from her puppet spreads the curse further, binding more to her will. Even those who resist will find themselves ensnared in the end. And then, Avada Kedavra, the spell that reshapes the battlefield into a graveyard. Most wizards fear it, pretend they are above it. Serafina does not pretend. Magic has always been about power over life and death. Avada Kedavra mastery ensures it does not stop at one. The curse chains through every marked foe, snuffing out life in an instant. For a moment, Serafina wonders if the founders feared this magic for a reason. If spells like these were never meant to be controlled, but hesitation is weakness. With Enduring Curse, her victims suffer longer, their pain stretching beyond what is natural. Blood Curse binds them together, ensuring that the suffering of one spreads to all. And with Curse Sapper, her magic feeds on the fallen, drawing vitality from every cursed soul she claims. She used to wake up with ink-black veins curling along her hands before fading. Now, the darkness lingers a little longer. At first, it felt unnatural, like something pressing against the edges of her mind. But the more she leans into it, the more it feels like a reward. She catches her reflection sometimes and does not recognize herself. Her eyes seem sharper, her features more hollow. She no longer hesitates before casting unforgivable curses. She no longer flinches at suffering. She tells herself it is a sign of power. But sometimes, when the curses fade and the torches burn low, she wonders, how much of Serafina Mulciber is still there? Magic is a force that rewards those who wield it without hesitation. Serafina does not strike blindly. She constructs inevitability, layering power upon power until resistance is meaningless. At the heart of her strategy lie 6 stacks of unforgivable 3, a trait that significantly increases damage dealt to cursed targets. With every stack, her basic cast grows deadlier, reaching nearly 3 times its normal strength. What was once a simple attack now becomes a relentless execution, tearing through marked enemies with merciless efficiency. But raw power is nothing without precision. Curses must spread, and Serafina ensures they do. Every unforgivable curse automatically curses its target, marking them for destruction. Yet, she does not rely on them alone. Through Crucio mastery, every strike against a cursed enemy sends a projectile to another, expanding the web of suffering. Imperio Mastery goes further. Each controlled foe spreads the curse with every attack, turning the battlefield into a chain reaction of marked victims. Even defensive spells become weapons. Stupefy, Expelliarmus, and Flipendo all mark enemies as cursed, ensuring that every exchange feeds into her growing dominance. By the time Avada Kedavra is cast, the curse has taken root across the battlefield. With Avada Kedavra Mastery, the spell chains through every cursed enemy, erasing them all in a single decisive moment. And as the dust settles, Curse Sapper takes its price, not from her, but from those who fall. Each cursed enemy she kills restores her vitality, turning death itself into a means of survival. 6 stacks, 6 layers of inevitability. Where others fight, Seraphina orchestrates. The battlefield falls silent. The last body crumples, the final breath stolen away. And for a fleeting moment, Seraphina stands alone in the quiet she has created. This was always inevitable. Victory is not a thrill, it is an expectation. A serpent does not strike for the sake of striking. It coils, waits, and strikes when the moment is right. Power is not meant to be flaunted, it is meant to be held, hoarded, sharpened in the shadows until no one dares challenge it. The Ministry calls magic a responsibility, but only fools believe that. Magic has always belonged to those with the ambition to claim it. Salazar Slytherin knew it. The founders built Hogwarts on magic they feared, locked it away behind stone and spell, whispering warnings of what it could do. But Seraphina was never one to heed warnings, only to learn from them. Her father reached too high without securing his footing. The Ministry cut him down for it. She will not make the same mistake. She exhales, steadying herself, brushing stray ash from her cloak. The fight is over. The next one will come soon enough, and when it does, she will be ready.